Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, letting you know that this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurants, located right here at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Check them out as they have weekday specials Monday through Friday, and don't forget $5 margarita Wednesdays, frozen or on the rocks. It's the best medicine to get you over that hump day. Don't forget to let Abel know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you for an extra 10% off your entire purchase. Great food and even better customer service. It's the only restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to episode 206. Welcome to A24 month, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am your host, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the guys. Craig.
Yo.
Edward.
Hey, how's it going, folks?
Guys, another Monday and another great episode, another new movie to talk about. Craig, we'll start with you, man. How's your weekend been?
Just not as eventful as last week. It's hot, so I've been staying in. Met you guys to go see the movie, and then just been playing video games and watching other movies. So
yeah, it's hot, but the cooler weather prevails. It's coming up soon. Ed, what about you? Did you have a good weekend?
Certainly better than last weekend for sure on that matter. I mowed my lawn on Sunday morning, went to see the Bodies movie with y'all right after, and
let's call it Triple B.
Yeah,
triple B on the backside. Thank you for everybody who's joining us today, and whether you're watching us right here live on IMSWA Productions or you're listening to this through the traditional audio version. A look back, though, guys, you can check out last week's episode wherever you listen to podcasts. You know, last Monday we talked about Marcel the Shell, but Thursday, Craig, in the bonus episode, me and you talked High Life, starring Robert Pattinson. We got a bunch of great emails about some of those movies that we'll talk about today. So if you want to listen to us talk about High Life from this past Thursday, just head over to wherever you listen to podcasts at, social media as well. Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your regular podcasts. You can also check us out on prescribedfilms.com, www.prescribedfilms.com. You can check us out, Attack of the Killer Podcast, The Movie Defenders, a bunch of other great movie podcasts as well. So, and then the social media, if you guys want to win some digital copies or just know what we're doing and know how we're keeping up with everything, check us out on Facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, / The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Twitter is at Cinemen405. And then the email, which is the easiest and fastest way to get a hold of us, CINEMEN921@gmail.com. So yeah, I think this is going to be a fun, unique episode. It's available in theaters now, so go check it out. Bodies. High Life, though, you can check out on Showtime or the Hulu Plus subscription. So, yeah. But Craig, you're going to get ready to talk about some Rodeo Cinema, which is a nice partner with us. And we just got done with a live event a few weeks ago. We're getting ready to do another live event coming up in September. So yeah, why don't you let everybody know about Some Rodeo Cinema.
Yeah, Rodeo Cinema is OKC's exclusive nonprofit art house and cinema with 2 historic locations, offering a variety of film, music, and live performance. You can search their Instagram at Rodeo Cinema. That's all one word. They have a link. You can learn more out on their website. But this, next Thursday, we are hosting a Q&A for The Room. Johnny, can you help me with the actor's name?
Greg
Sestero.
Greg Sestero.
Greg Sestero. We're going to be there hosting a Q&A. We're going to be watching the movie. So come down there, show support, watch the movie The Room if you haven't seen it before. It's a very cult classic following type of film now. We're very excited to be able to do that. So Rodeo Cinema in historic downtown Stockyards, Oklahoma City.
Stockyard City. Now let's time to get into some movie news. Guys, there's not a lot going out, but I wanted to bring up at least these 2 huge things this week. A new Saw movie is set for October 2023. Horror franchise will begin production soon and is slated to be unreleased by Lionsgate by October 27th, 2023. Give or take, you guys can say what you will. I know we've had a lot of emails about Saw needs to be go ahead and written, let it be done, let it be finished and over with. But you know what? When you have a sequel like Spiral that came out, killed it at the box office, and just had amazing feedback, why not? And whether it's Chris Rock or Samuel Jackson or LeBron James now producing some horror movies, if things come out the way Hustle came out, why not? I think Spiral was an amazing movie. It was a breath of fresh air, and I'm kind of excited to see what else they can do with the Saw franchise. Anybody have thoughts?
I'm fine with movies that keep going as long as they change the flavor. As long as they, if it keeps coming out and it's like we're hammering the same thing, we're going to capture people. They're going to be,
And have you guys seen Spiral yet?
I have not. I want to keep watching it, but I just haven't seen it yet.
Spiral's a breath of fresh air. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. I wanted to mention the top box office news. Bullet Train stands number 1 at $13.4 million semi-opening weekend. But guys, number 2, Top Gun Maverick is number 2 with $7.1 million this past weekend. It's insane. And you have movies like this. Check it out. Number 3 is DC Super Pets. That's sitting at $7 million. Thor: Love and Thunder, $5.4 million. And Nope, $5.4 million. So you have these newer movies that are out. You also have Minions in there at $5 million. But Top Gun just domestically abused the other movies in the box office.
Still.
Yeah. See what I did there? Domestic box office. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I get paid the big bucks, okay? So I think it's going to be and this movie, it's not like this movie is months away from getting a Blu-ray or a home video release. This movie is just weeks away from getting a streaming release and just about a month away from a 4K release. So it's like, man, this movie is just
the word of mouth.
Money.
Yeah, it's the word of mouth and the amount of people that say like this is one of those movies that if you don't see it on the big screen, you'll kick yourself.
Yeah.
It's available to be seen streaming, but it's not going to have the same effect. Like if you haven't seen it, go see it in the biggest screen possible, wherever it is. I don't know if it's in IMAX or Dolby anymore, but you got to go see it in the theater.
Yeah,
should have seen it in 40X. Man, that would have been fun.
Hello, Johnny.
Hey, not really any other like big stuff that I wanted to bring up. One last thing I did want to bring up because it continues to make headlines week after week. The Ezra Miller and the Flash Now, and some indicates are saying that that Warner Brothers and HBO Max should just cancel the entire movie, not even put it out. But now they have like the three option thing. Now I've heard that if Ezra Miller goes to court, whether he gets sentenced or not, if he goes to therapy and does, rehab and does a lot of PA, they're going to release the movie the way it is. Option 2 is they completely scrape the entire third act, which they've already started scraping some of the third act. Ben Affleck is now filming scenes for the Flash movie, and then they're going to release it that way. And then the third possible option is completely just scrape the movie, period.
Honestly, option 2 to me would probably be best. They'd at least make some money. They could go ahead and just.
I don't think they'll make any money if they do option 2. It's going to be
No.
like Solo.
It's going to be a wash.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that they feel like is already put together that's going to continue their vision of what they're wanting to put out. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be a wash. There's not going to be. It's more so of we have the product. Let's go ahead and put it out so people can see it and continue what we're doing.
Yeah.
More so than let's put it out there to make money. They already know. They're in the hole. So.
And then I wanted to bring this up because she's a tremendous actress. But Viola Davis now joins the Ballad of Songbirds, and Snakes as the lead villain. So she is going to be the main villain in the Hunger Games prequel.
Huh.
So I think she's and we saw how ruthless she can be in the Suicide Squad. Yeah. So I think she's going to do a great job in this Hunger Games prequel.
I just hope it's not her character from Suicide Squad. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know how or what she's going to be cast as in the movie, but I don't want her to just be some lady in the suit calling shots. I want her to be down and dirty. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And then the very last thing I wanted to bring up, Marvel has openly slated that they are going to introduce mutants and the X-Men for Phase 7. Something like this, I kind of like yawn over because I'm like, dude, you're just now in Phase 5. Why even announce it? Years and years away.
I think because of the whole 2025.
Yeah. I think they're just always trying to make news. And I'm like, hey guys, it's okay to just chill and sit in the back for a little bit. I'm nowhere near looking forward to any of the recasting of the X-Men.
No, I've lost your
itch.
My itch. Yeah, there's no high that I'm waiting for because there's content 24/7. Like I'm not excited for She-Hulk. No. I'm excited for Andor, which I think isn't that the end of this month?
Yes.
I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for Black Panther. But other than that, nothing else in that universe excites me right now.
If you watch She-Hulk and you appreciate it and the CGI, I think you're straight poppycock. Hypocrites. Hypocrites. No. It's all fun and games, though, until somebody loses their CGI vomit all over everywhere. Yeah, I think, I'm as soon as I saw the trailer and saw what she looks like with CGI, I'm like, geez, guys, what are we doing here? You're just pushing out so much content that, you might as well just make it look like Hulk from 2003. That's essentially what it looks like. That's how green she is.
Yeah, but we got better technology too, so you guys you could make it look like that just as easy and it would still look better than what they have it looking like.
Yeah, you guys know what the famous Kermit the Frog said, it ain't easy being green. So
I think it's not easy being a VFX artist.
Yeah. You guys can check out all of my recent watches though, and some other people's, I guess. You guys can always throw out some if you guys do anything here at the, Craig, Edward. But if you guys want to keep up with some of my recent watches, go follow the Instagram page. It's all one word, Instagram / the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Ed, we'll start with you. Do you have anything that you recently checked out that you want to recommend?
So I finished Tokyo Revengers, for that matter. So I am completely done with the first season.
Nice.
I actually checked out, you're going to hate me for this, Scary Movie 2.
Already do.
Hey, gotta keep you on that roll. Other than bodies, not really. Been trying to pick up a new hobby,
Nice.
so learning slowly at that.
Well, Ed, Craig, what about you? You check anything out recently that's pretty fun or worth recommending?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to remember. I had them all written down, and then I deleted that note. Um, Son of a Gun, or Son of a Gun with Ewan McGregor, A24 film.
Mm.
Checked out again. I think we talked about it Thursday, but I checked out Under the Silver Lake in preparation for
Mm.
Ed's episode.
You joining us on Thursday, right?
I think I will.
Yeah. Nice.
Checked out half of Mississippi Grind, Ryan Reynolds gambling movie. I fell asleep halfway through and I didn't get to finish it.
So did Ryan Reynolds.
Man, I just I know I'm missing quite a few, but I checked out about 6 A24 films over the weekend or over the week. I was just doing a little grind. I'm on my Johnny grind right now.
Hey, I gotta throw some props, man, because I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but stepping out of your box and going and finding some of these just random A24 movies and just giving them a shot so you can just integrate the conversations for this A24 month. It has been a joy these past few weeks, and getting out of that not really Marvel and superhero phase, but just going into something different. A lot of people would be like, I'm not into any of that stuff. Why am I even going to attempt? But you've kind of just opened Pandora's box, really, if you will, and just kind of like opened up the forbidden door. And I think it's been
A24 box.
Yeah, the A24 box, and I think it's a good thing.
Oh, I do have one more that I just now remembered that I did check out. Uncharted. I got to check that out finally.
Okay.
Yesterday after we left the theater.
Nice.
But my recommendation is going to be Son of a Gun with Ewan McGregor. It also has Alicia Vikander in it, if I'm not mistaken. So, kind of a kid goes to jail and his dad's in prison, and they kind of go on this whole heist type thing, and entertaining watch. I mean, it's not Ewan McGregor in some of the stuff that I kind of know him in.
Yep.
It's a little different. Much like him, I stepped out of that box. So thoroughly enjoyed it. Would highly recommend it.
Nice. What did you get to check Son of a Gun on? Was it still on your Showtime Hulu subscription? Or is that on HBO Max now? Do you remember?
I think it was Showtime, but I think it is on HBO Max.
And there's a ton, guys. If anybody's listening, and this is a norm for us. Every August, this is the second year in a row, we've done an A24 month. So, it's opening up new films to people who maybe not would go out and check some of these movies out, but maybe these conversations or these arguments or these reviews or star ratings would get somebody to at least check them out. I didn't have that big of a week. Been really, really busy, but I did check out Tokyo Revengers. I'm a huge John Hughes fan, so I watched She's Having a Baby, written and directed by John Hughes. And then my A24 movies consist of High Life for last Thursday's episode, Equals, Kristen Stewart. You were right, Craig. I checked it out. I checked it out. I checked it out just because I haven't seen it yet, and I'm like, this looks pretty interesting. And it was a lot slower than High Life.
It was slow, yeah,
and real meaningless.
Well, like I said, I skimmed through it, and I was like, dude, I don't see anything changing other than people talking. I'm gonna pass on this one. So,
I checked out Jennifer's Body. I think I might have talked about that last Monday. But I checked out Jennifer's Body for a recent Friday the 14th episode. And then last night, I checked out The Sea of Trees with Matthew McConaughey and Ken Watanabe. And who else is also in that? Naomi Watts.
All right.
Dude, it is so deep
Oh yeah.
I would recommend at least a watch because it's man, yeah, it's just really deep. A man contemplating suicide goes into a forest to probably do away with his life and runs into somebody stranded in the forest. So interesting, so deep. And then I checked out Bodies for 2 days episode. And then you know what? I got to bring it up because they played on Saturday night. I watched my Dallas Cowboys in preseason number 1, and you know what? With Cooper Rush in there at quarterback, they stunk it up. But you put Ben Dabalan Danucci in there, and man, he tossed a touchdown. He was getting it to the open receivers. I think Cooper Rush is probably going to get released this season. Ben DiNucci deserves that number 2 spot in my eyes. I don't know.
Danucci!
Yeah. And you know what? He's so popular amongst amongst the crowd and amongst the locker room. This could be a Tony Romo in the making if Dak Prescott can't get it done or if he gets hurt.
I would say if he gets hurt, they paid Dak too much money to give Ben DiNucci a shot. But he is a crowd favorite just because of how he was portrayed in Hard Knocks last year. So
yeah. But you know, I watched the first half, watched the second half highlights. The left tackle from Tulsa did outstanding. I think he's going to do phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
The young receivers stepped up when DiNucci got them the ball. So, you know, defense kind of stepped up at least in the second half. You know, they didn't allow Denver to score at all, really. So,
I forgot. I also checked out Lightyear again because it is on streaming services. I watched it with my nieces and nephews. We all watched it at my parents'. Did you watch any other preseason games?
I did not. That's the only one I watched all the way through. I did see that the scores though around the league were close.
Yeah,
a lot of close games.
Kyle Trask kind of balled out a little bit. A lot of the rookie and young quarterbacks really look good across the league. Did you check out Hard Knocks last week?
Is it the Lions?
Yeah.
I did not. I know. I think the whole thing is already on HBO. Not the whole thing, but they're on HBO Max.
Yeah.
But I haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah. Episode 2 will be out tomorrow. So
nice. And that's always a good, entertaining show to watch. So
it was. You know, I thought maybe the Lions would probably be kind of, but no, it's actually entertaining. They got a good little chemistry thing going on up there.
But yeah, if you guys want to check out any of our recent watches, at least on mine, you can go to the Instagram before we get ready to talk about some CDR. So yeah, go check us out on the Instagram page, instagram.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
CDR Electronics, 1604 West I-240 Service Road in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They have CDR Electronics serves the OKC Metro with the best value for the electronics. They have everything you need there: games, movies, cell phones, computers, accessories for all of the above. And some of the best prices in the Metro. So if you need to make some quick cash and you got some extra phones or games laying around, go up there, see how much they'll pay. Call them. You know, they'll always give you a quote and tell you what they're paying. But I mean, when we all need a movie or a game, that's where we go. CDR Electronics.
So now it's time to dig into some truth about bodies.
Uh-oh.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
So there's not that many around on IMDb, so I'm just going to read the 2 that's available. The third one that's available is completely spoilers, so I'm staying away from that one. The name of the movie and the game played in the movie are based on a commonly played improv game called Body or Murder in the Dark, where players run around in a dark room while the murderer kills players by tapping them, hoping to get away with killing the entire group. Chloe Okuno was the original choice to direct the film. And then the script was originally written by Kristen Ropanian of Cat Person. Fame and bears little resemblance to the finished product. Only a few of the names are the same. It takes place during a snowstorm rather than a hurricane. and has little in the way of a social satire, and is much closer to a traditional slasher movie, with the rough Alice analog being the killer. The script was heavily rewritten by Sarah Delap, with Rupatane getting a story credit. So it looks like this movie was going to be more of a slasher than what it ended up turning out to be. So, um, again, this is a brand new movie. Not a lot of truth details about it, so go check it out. It is currently
Or don't.
in theaters.
Either one.
It's up to you.
And we're gonna get ready to talk about that here real soon. Um, but Ed, you're a pretty easygoing guy when it comes to sweets and tasty beverages. You like yourself some sweet soda and you like yourself some sweets. So what would you let everybody know about some nice OKC soda? How cold does it have to be for you?
Oh, man, I can drink it at room temperature. I can drink it cold. I can drink it ice cold. It doesn't matter to me, man. As long as it's OKC Soda Company, that's what matters. Because OKC Soda Company is a craft soda company born and raised in Oklahoma City. They use only pure cane sugar and natural ingredients to create caffeine-free soda with no high fructose corn syrup. Their unique flavors include strawberry milkshake, blueberry acai, and apricot pineapple, and are all served in infinitely recyclable aluminum cans. You can go ahead, yeah, get you some OKC soda. They've got a few new flavors. And yeah, go ahead and get pineapple cream, some of that lemonade, man. There is a ton of great flavors with them.
I'm gonna get that what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. And then we'll
If you guys are tuning in on this YouTube channel, Imaswa Live Productions, then you know that there's plenty of other great content out there, like the Fanboys podcast, or you can see me as well every single Wednesday on Friday the 14th podcast. It is every single Wednesday there's a horror movie that we review. Last Wednesday we got to talk about Jennifer's Body, which honestly was a really fun rewatch. I haven't seen it since its initial theater run. Real fun movie. Or you can check out movies like we're reviewing this Wednesday, August the 17th. We're talking about Leprechaun. Them being a horror podcast, I'm like, man, we haven't nobody's talked about the little Leprechaun yet. So I know the reviews are trash, but it was my pick. I kind of want to see how this movie holds up decades later. So yeah, I'm excited to see how Leprechaun holds up this Wednesday. If you want to hear me and Nick's review on Leprechaun, join us this Wednesday, August 17th, 8 p.m. Imasawal Live Productions. Craig, Mr. O. Tony Stank,
What's up?
you're going to be on another episode, right, of the Fanboys?
Yeah, I think it's X-Men 2, if I'm not mistaken. That should be actually pretty soon. Might be tomorrow. I don't know. They have yet to call me or let me know.
Nice.
But it might be the 28th. So I think we're a week away from doing it. So I'll probably hear something from them soon.
Nice. So yeah, you guys have something new that drops on this YouTube channel every single day. So a lot of great content. Go check it out. They almost have 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So Imasawal Live Productions, if you're listening to this audio wise, the links are in the YouTube page. But now, guys, it is time for our most favored and deared segment that we hold so close to our hearts. It is time that we talk the top 5. All right, guys, it is time for the top 5. This entire month, the top 5 is going to be A24 themed, just like the movies that we were reviewing. So last week we talked about our top 5 A24 scores. Today we are talking our top 5 A24 scenes. I have just 2 that I'm going to go ahead and no, you know what? Let me just go ahead and name this one. Does anybody else have any honorable mentions?
Yes.
No.
I'm going to name this one just real quick. The James Franco playing the piano and singing Britney Spears's "Every Time." Every time he plays that piano and that scene comes on in that movie in Spring Breakers, it's funny and it makes me want to listen to Britney Spears. So James Franco playing the piano and singing "Every Time" in Spring Breakers. Craig, what about you?
Um, two of these are kind of not they're movies that we haven't done yet, so I'm just gonna briefly say them, and I'm gonna move them to honorable mention instead of being in my top five. Um, in X, when they push the girl into the lake,
Yep.
I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
And Under the Silver Lake, there's a scene where he combines maps, and I'll leave it at that. So, if you've seen the two, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the two, you'll probably get those in the episodes. So come back and listen to those.
Good answer. Good answer. I'll start off with number 5.
5.
Number 5 for me is going to be, again, this is a huge spoiler, so I don't know if you guys, I'm not going to say, I'll probably do the same thing. I don't know if anybody here has seen the A24 movie Tusk, directed by Kevin Smith. If you haven't seen it, I'm just going to say the final reveal. The final reveal in Tusk is my number 5. So, Edward, number 5 for you.
Number 5 for me, mid '90s. A lot of good scenes in this one, but one that I really liked. That's sentimental and all that. So, yeah, the scene in the hospital right after the car wreck, when all of them kind of get over the BS and come back to being kind of that group that made them good, for that matter. I really like that, especially as everybody was accepted, not just, oh, well, this is the new guy, so you're out, or, well, he's ours, so new guy, you need to prove yourself. It wasn't like that. It was just everybody coming together, to be part of a group and face his mom and be like, yo, we did wrong. We're sorry, like, but we're here for him, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice, nice. Craig, number 5.
Number 5 for me is going to be Son of a Gun. At the end, they realize there is no gold on the boat. So I'm pretty sure that's not spoiler. That's a spoiler free. So I'll leave it at that.
Number 4.
4.
Number 4 for me is going to be where Adam Sandler, I believe he's either talking to a bookie or KG, but this is from Uncut Gems, where he looks and he just sits back with the simple hands to the fingertips to the hands, and he's like, this is where I win.
Yeah.
And it leads up to an amazing, powerful ending. So if you guys have not seen Uncut Gems, it's your unorthodox Adam Sandler, but it is the score plus Adam Sandler's character has you on edge the entire time. So that's my number 4 scene, is where he just looks, I believe it's the bookie, and he looks at him and says, this is where I win. Very, very good scene. Powerful. Ed, number 4 for you?
Number 4 for me, funny enough, is going to be from Uncut Gems as well. To me, it's the scene where she's, going to put the numbers down and all that, and at the end where it finally happens, man, that feeling, because I mean, okay, I've never got something like that, for that matter, so that feeling must have been superb.
Yeah.
But just to see your guys go for it, B, you get it, and then C, right after that, just the friggin' twist of it all, man. Yeah, that is to a 90-degree drop roller coaster of emotions. So that's one to look out for in my eyes.
Nice. Craig, number 4 for you?
Number 4 for me is going to be the little montage in the lighthouse, where they both get completely shit-faced, and they're dancing, they're singing, they're fighting, they're crying, and then they're both passed out. I think it perfectly encapsulates that movie and just how insane they're going inside that lighthouse. So it's my number 4.
Nice. Number 3.
3.
Number 3 for me is going to be, and I'm just going to leave it at this because if you have not seen the movie, then you don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm not even going to say the character's name. But the beheading in Hereditary. It's my number 3. Ed?
Craig, I'm following you up, man. The Lighthouse, the frivolous night of cheer and drinking before all chaos erupts. It is a very strange, chaotic, and wonderful movie that you got to see, honestly, because literally just I think there's 5 actors in it total. Well, probably 6 with her.
The Mermaid.
Yeah, but I mean, predominantly, what 95% of it's between
It's
2
just that
guys.
two. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, and it's Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Like, come on now, you know that's the one that kind of made me really, really respect him as like, okay, dude's not just from Harry Potter and Twilight.
Yep.
Dude's on his own and he's doing good things. So yeah,
Craig, number 4 for you? Or
Number 3 for
number
me
3?
is going to be when old dude jumps off the cliff in Midsummer.
Yeah.
So that's
Splat.
yeah. So that
2.
Wait, that we were on number. That was 4.
3.
that was
No.
3. We're
Was
on
it?
number 2. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, 5 midsummer or mid 90s. 4 for me was Uncut Gems, and 3 was Lighthouse. So yeah, we're on 2.
See,
oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
because you
No,
did
you're
Hereditary and then
Yeah.
yeah.
I did. Yeah, my bad. I did Tusk,
Hereditary.
Adam Sandler, and Hereditary. Number 2 for me then is going to be. We just talked about this, me and Nick, a few weeks ago. The Spectacular Now. Sutter is talking to Amy, his girlfriend, about
Amy.
why he thinks that she shouldn't be with him, and that the dialogue in the car on the way back home from seeing his dad, he's just get far away from me as possible. He pulls over in the middle of the highway, tells her to get out of the car and just leave, get as far away as possible, and then what follows is just shocking. So the dialogue between Sutter, Miles Teller, and Shailene Woodley, Amy, is pretty good throughout the whole movie. So that's number 2 for me. And if I had to do it, because I kind of wrote too many here. If I had to do a 2B, it would be the Fire Lake side, the fire. It's kind of like a campsite, I guess, but the daughter and the dad have a conversation outside at the end of 8th grade. Really deep conversation. So,
Yep.
but yeah. Ed, number 2 for you.
Man, Craig, it's like me and you are almost following each other. I swear. Didn't
following me.
Try. I didn't go. We didn't make this list up, dude. Midsummer, but I'm going with a different scene. Basically, the scene I'm going with is the one where they try and get into the house and get into what the secret of that village was, and then desecrate that sacred tree as well. And if you haven't seen this movie, I suggest highly you go see this.
I think it's time for a rewatch.
Oh yeah,
Right.
it's that time of month.
But yeah, it's spectacular, and I mean the blatancy and the bluntness of it all is amazing. So yeah, go watch that. I promise you.
Of course, he would use the word blunt.
No,
you won't regret it. It is a wonderful movie.
Number 2 for you, Craig.
Number 2 for me. We just talked about it Thursday. I still can't get over the fact of how just mesmerizing, how a part of the film I felt. It was the high life space scene with in quotations, my noise canceling headphones. For some reason, that scene just really sticks out to me. It's a scene. Haven't had many scenes like that where I just felt something more than what the scene was portraying. And so that's my number 2.
Nice. Number 1.
1.
Number 1 for me, probably because I kind of teared up like a big ass baby boss in the last 30 minutes of the movie. And I'm going to call you guys out. I think you both should watch this movie. If you enjoyed Top Gun Maverick, then why the fuck have you not seen this movie yet, or even searched it out? It's on Prime. I think you guys need to go check out the A24 documentary called Val. It's based on Val Kilmer, and the entire last 30 minutes of this movie is just so sentimental. It talks about what he's going through and what he had to do in order to even make this documentary. And it even has, maybe some highlights of what was going to be seen in Top Gun Maverick. So, with thyroid cancer and throat cancer being like just any kind of cancer really being nasty as it is, unfortunately Val Kilmer has taken the shit into the stick. But you know what? It doesn't stop him from waking up and doing what he loves every day. He didn't get to talk and be the commentator for his own documentary. His son had to do it. But you know what? He has so much home footage from his entire career. It's only like an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. Highly recommend it. One of the best documentaries I've ever seen. It was even on my top 5+5 of 2020 a few 2 years ago. So Val documentary on Amazon Prime. Go check it out.
So is that a scene or is that a movie?
The last 30 minutes? Okay. The last 30 minutes, it will make you just take you some tissue with you. So yeah, I don't want to get into it, but yeah.
I didn't know that was an A24.
Yep, A24 documentary, and it was actually really, really close to being done this year. Like I almost wanted to just throw it into the pile of movies. So that's my number 1. Ed, what's your number 1?
Man, so I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit from this.
You get a lot of shit anyway.
And I was about to say, it's cool. I know Craig's already got one loaded in the barrel for me later on in the day. So you introduced me either a year or 2 years ago to a movie that was one of the strangest movies I've ever seen, but I kind of fell in love with it. And it's kind of one of those guilty pleasures in a way. And it's the last scene in How to Talk to Girls at Parties. Literally the last scene is about his kids coming up or coming back, and yep, exactly that one. And I mean, dude, the first time I finished it, like I literally started crying. Not gonna lie. Like that last scene had me in tears.
That's what I'm talking about. We get into some feels here on the podcast.
So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people probably are going to be like, "The fuck, what are you watching?" But hey, man, not afraid to admit I watched that and I like it. It's a strange movie. That's all I can say. But give it a chance.
Craig, your number 1. Does it make you cry?
Yeah.
It did make me cry. It's the end of Bodies. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's the end of Ex Machina, when she's completely played both sides of the fence, locks everybody in the house, and she says, "See you later." I mean, it's a twist that you didn't see coming. You didn't think that a robot had the capacity to know that she could play both sides of the fence in order to get out of the house. Ex Machina is still, in my opinion, one of the top A24 films because it's just brilliantly done.
Yeah.
So
good cast, good score, good scenes, good actors.
Good plot,
we did a whole podcast on it. So that was our top 5 this week, guys. Send us in some of your top 5 A24 scenes. Next week, guys, we're talking Men. A24's latest horror movie that came out this year. It is Craig. You said you love Ex Machina. Well, guess what? It's from the same writers and director as Ex Machina. So they put this movie together, men. And guess what? Our top 5 next week is going to be our top 5 men characters from A24 movies. So go check it out. We're talking our top 5 male characters in an A24 movie. So pretty fun. A few weeks ago we did our top 5 female characters.
I got Obi-Wan and Jacob, or not Jacob, but
from Twilight.
Yeah.
Speaking of, if you guys are hungry, don't forget to check out locally here, Red and Blues Pizza. You can give them a call at 405-602-2838. You can go check them out in person, 4500 South May Avenue, right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They're open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sundays, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. So go get you some pizza, hot and fresh. If pizza's not your thing, then go get some wings. They got cheese bread. They have gyros, whatever the hell you want to call them. They're good. Okay, that's all I got to tell you. They have sandwiches, and they also have cheeseburgers that they just released a few weeks ago. And if you need something sweet, then check out these cinnamon sticks. They're gooey, they're fresh, and they're hot. So check them out. Red and Blues Pizza, 4500 South May Avenue, right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And don't forget to let Myra know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you for some exclusive details. So check them out. Red and Blues Pizza. But yeah, guys, today we are talking Bodies. It had a theatrical release of August 5th, 2022. Currently, IMDb has it at 6.6, while Rotten Tomatoes is at 90%. The Metascore is at 68%, while the Google users have it at 79%.
Wow, it dropped. It dropped then because when I looked at it when we went yesterday, it was at like 88.
The box office right now, it's so far made a little over $3.6 million at the box office. When a group of rich 20-somethings plan a hurricane party at a remote family mansion, a party game turns deadly in this fresh and funny look at backstabbing, fake friends, and one party gone very, very wrong. Starring Amandla Stenberg, Maria Bakalov, Rachel Sennett, Chase Wonders, Pete Davidson, Lee Pace, and Mahala Harold. Directed by Helena Regin. So guys, like we said, you guys can go check out Bodies right now in theaters, wherever you want to go check out theaters. I believe Rodeo Cinema is also playing Bodies. If you want to check it out here locally in Oklahoma City. So guys, spoiler heavy, honestly, if you have not seen Bodies, go check it out. We're 48 minutes into the episode. Or if you think that a whodunit won't be that big on spoiling, then stay tuned. Just listen to it and go check it out in theaters. This is
I want to warn people, if you plan on watching this movie and you listen to the podcast first, I don't think if you were to enjoy this movie and you listen to this podcast first, the whole movie is going to be spoiled for you.
Yeah.
So this is one of the few movies I would highly recommend.
Pause it.
Watch it first.
Minutes. Yeah.
And then come back and listen.
Yeah.
Or if you don't plan on watching it, then you can listen. But one of the two.
We're at 49 minutes exactly if you're listening audio-wise or watching it. So pause it. Go check it out in theaters. It's only an hour and a half, and then come right back. We all watched this for the first time yesterday. In just one word, Edward, Bodies.
Ridiculous.
I like it. Craig?
Sleepy.
I'm going to say refreshing. And all my notes are going out the window. Notebook, notes, Bodies. Let's dig into it. I'm excited to talk about it. I like that this movie is just Ed, you put the cherry on the top. It's ridiculous. It's making fun of Gen Z. It's making fun of Richie brat people, brats, and completely gaga. It's goobers. It's monkey business. It's if you take this movie serious, you're not going to have fun.
As me.
Next week we're talking about men. No.
And cut. Yeah, I tried with all my might to enjoy the movie for what it was as it was happening. And Ed kind of, pointed out some spots where I agreed with him during the movie. But
It's my boy.
there was just parts in the movie where I was like, that's going to lead to the car not being able to turn on.
Yep.
That's like, it's in horror movies, I feel like it's supposed to be subtle, but I caught every little thing that they were moving. I didn't get the twist. I had a thought of something in my mind for the twist, but like I was like, that's going to lead to this. That's going to lead to this.
So you said you didn't actually get the twist until it happened, right? What did you think it was going to be?
If we're going to cut straight to that, I thought he committed suicide because he was upset that him and his girlfriend were beefing.
Okay.
And
fair enough on that.
So when he came up to the window, I had assumed that maybe there was no killer and he had just committed suicide, and that's what everything.
And they all are. So I mean, like, that's not giving it away. That's literally just saying this is what I thought and going from there.
I thought from the beginning, I thought it was, and the movie opens up with Sophie and B making out.
Yeah.
I thought the killer of the movie was in that scene.
Yeah.
I had my heart solely based on it, but everybody kind of thinks that you're going to go towards B. Wrong choice. I kind of thought Sophie was going to be the killer because the entire time throughout the whole movie, you hear that her friends sent her to rehab. They made her go to rehab. She was a piece of shit. She was a cokehead. She
was the only one that was considered a cokehead.
Exactly.
Right. When everybody else did coke.
Yeah, she got the trust fund cut off. So I thought, and nobody knew she was coming. So I thought with her coming back, bringing this foreign exchange girlfriend from Russia, easy person to put the blame on. I literally thought it was going to be Sophie the entire time.
Well, even that's good plot. That's good plot diversion by them.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because that's where your eyes are going to go immediately.
But you also have to look at how positive it is when they put the focus on Greg.
On Greg, yeah,
they put the focus on Greg a lot. The tension between him and David are huge. I just had fun with this movie, and I know some people out there probably have some huge gripes about this movie, but I'm just really glad that it kind of ended the way it did because it just has that typical A24 twist.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's a movie in a day and age where, guess what movie came out in January? You had Scream, a huge multi-million-dollar movie horror franchise that blew it out of the water. But you know what? At the end of the day, Scream kind of left my mouth a little stale. Kind of the same shit. I was hoping in Scream that, they would surprise me with something a little bit bigger.
I don't have an issue with the story or what the twist was. My issue is solely based on we're in a dark theater, the setting's dark, and the camera's doing this the entire time. And you get nothing but bitching between teen girls about my daddy and my drugs and my boyfriend and my relationship. And I'm just like,
you're rich, but I'm wealthy. So you're an asshole.
It took that situation that you thought was fun and invigorating and a good, and it just completely overdid it. And I think if they would have just toned it back a little bit, set the stage where, yes, we are all rich. We are in this big house. We play this game and we're in a hurricane because it's fun to us. We have drugs and music. That's fine. but the fact that they kept going over this relationship stuff.
But I think that's where you the viewer you want something bad to happen to them. You're like, you know what, at this point you guys just need to kill each other because you're so dark, you're so backstabbing, and you're so self-centered around what you have physically that you guys aren't worried about what's going around emotionally. So I think that the issue of them acting the way they are is that, hey, the story was simple. If you guys were just to trust each other and not worry about money or drugs, you guys very well may have turned this night into, you know,
but that's
but I understand
the,
why they
the,
did
mo-
that. That's them making fun of that generation.
the movie is set up to fail from the get-go because nobody is friends with anybody. It's all fake backstabbing from the get-go. Nobody's really friends with anybody. They're all just there because there's drugs and stuff involved.
Well,
And then all the relationships.
you don't find that out though straight from the beginning. The only two who are, getting
Beefing is Jordan.
Yeah, the only two who don't really want to be there, is, like you said, who
Jordan and Sophie.
Yeah, Jordan doesn't want Sophie to be there, and everybody's like, why is she here? And then you even have some backstory really about some relationships issues between Sophie and David, like what was going on before she went to rehab and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, there's so many issues in the friendships. Not only that, but even in the relationships, for that matter. Because you have David and Emma, you have Greg and Alice, you have Sophie and V, and then you have Jordan, who's kind of just over here by herself, for that matter.
I think her boyfriend was like gone or something. He was supposed to come back.
Don't forget about Max. Max was in there too.
That's true. But so you have those are your main characters, and Max is kind of like a later on character, talked about a lot, but later on. But like David and Greg have a big beef. Sophie and Jordan have a small, like, low-key beef, but yeah. But they start playing that game, bodies, and all that, and most of them are drunk and some of them are high. The hurricane's already started, basically, and literally, like, it kind of just goes on from the beginning. And on top of that, like, Greg, I've got to give it to him, because literally, like, the first scene you see after the game starts, once everything's, like, literally just pitch black, and you see just, like, the glowing glow sticks for necklaces, or you see flashlights and camera phones.
You got to add, before the game even starts, they're doing a drinking game where you have to get hit before you can take a shot.
Yeah.
And Pete Davidson's character completely decks Greg. So you think that there's beef right there from the get-go. And then they start the bodies game.
Yeah. And I mean, you go and all that. And so Greg takes that and he's like, okay, that hurt. Like, I thought that was uncalled for. But he comes back and he's like, okay, what are we doing now? So one of the people gets chosen as the killer with a black X on a piece of paper, and you're supposed to go around kind of like what Juan said earlier, and you're supposed to just tap someone on the back, and you fall over like you're dead, basically. You can't talk, you can't, anything like that. You can't help them go through it. Well, Greg is the first one killed off, basically.
And they find
with
him.
that, they find him in the living room, I think, face down, and like, dude's pretty good. Like, they're all like, hey,
they all thought he was dead.
Like dead. It's like, oh, they roll him over, and Pete Davidson's character David goes up to him with a
beer bottle.
Either it was cold or it was
it's a beer bottle, and he just taps him on the nuts.
And he's like, okay, and he basically wakes up like out of a trance, kind of thing, is what he alludes to. But I thought that was a good part right there. But also with that, they all get into it about who the killer is, and kind of every one of the girls gets mad at David and gang up on him that you're the killer, because like you were so pissed with David, and then you're going after her for being an actress when she's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And all this and all that. So it just shows the group mentality that they will go ahead and strike, whether it's real or not, for that matter. And you So yeah, you get to see in that scene right there that they will turn
Nobody,
on each other in a
yeah.
dime, on a dime for that matter.
And so Pete Davidson's character kind of tests Greg, um, calling him out after he says something, and Greg goes to bed. And then, you know, Pete Davidson's character gets pissed off because he's talking to his girlfriend and they all gang up on him. He goes to bed and the power goes out. And then that's essentially when the killing starts. The power's out, and then all of a sudden you see
V going around, and
V.
then she looks up, and all of a sudden Pete Davidson goes against like a glass like window,
like
basically.
he's like on a sunroom.
Yeah, and he hits it, and you're like, oh, you kind of jump at that for that matter, and you see him with a bunch of blood over like.
So what do you
his
guys
chest
think?
and
Like,
neck.
I don't think we have to go scene by scene with this, because honestly, I mean, Edward really wants, for that matter, to go viral for some reason. But I think, I think,
I was just kind of setting up the beef and how it starts.
what do you guys think about how you really don't see a single
Anybody
death?
killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't see anybody killed throughout the entire movie, really,
Greg,
except right, like
spoiler.
spoiler, yeah. I just, I don't know. I thought it was just a really different way of having people die off and not even seeing most of it on camera.
I think the best thing that this movie does is it makes you think somebody's the killer, they die, and you just keep going down the list thinking like, oh, well, if he's not the killer, then it's got to be her because she did this to them.
Because
it's
it's really A24's version of a whodunit murder mystery, but
a Clue in a way for that matter.
Yeah, whodunit. But at the end of the day, they just kind of say, haha, no, we got you.
Yeah.
It I don't know. Some of it is a very good movie, kind of that trope on those like Richie Rich kids that are basically, made up to be like, if you're not part of social media and you aren't doing this to get viral and kind of crap like that you aren't nothing. Well, you're not rich.
Today's
so
generation. It's that's exactly what it's. I feel like it's taken a slasher vibe, mixing it with a little bit of Spring Breakers, and just completely making fun of Gen Z guys.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of it's just well, I mean, even in the Greg scene for that matter, Alice straight up turns on him. Because they're all like, how long have you known this dude? And she's like, a while. They're like, dude, no. How long have you known this guy? And she's like, well, like 2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks, and you're already like bringing them to the friends hangout at this dude's house and all this. And dude's like pretty much double your age. But it's not only that, but you don't even know this guy. They're all like, you don't even know his middle name. You don't even know.
You know what though? Like,
that.
but the story of the plot and bringing people in like that kind of scenario, it's something kind of like you're harping on. But that stuff happens all the freaking time.
No, I know.
And they're just pointing out the obvious of stuff that happens in today's society. And you can go meet somebody at a bar at 9 p.m., have them at your house, hanging out with your buddies, drinking your liquor by 2 a.m. We just live in that society where hit me up on Snap and guess what?
Next
a
thing
week,
you know,
a
you're
week
with
later, that's just that's the society we live in. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, but I mean,
you can movies, never really know a person.
Yeah, with movies you have to update, and that's just a thing that I love. Unfortunately, movies like Scream, guess what? They're still kind of stuck in the past. This movie completely just updated and I know it's a horror comedy. It's not serious. And it's a satire. If you take it serious, again, you're going to have issues, but it just takes today's issues and today's real life, social media problems
to the next level.
Yeah. To a whole next level. You know what? I went back and listened to the soundtrack today. The soundtrack is just as ridiculous as the movie. And I had so much fun with the, with the soundtrack.
No, the soundtrack was Like it definitely fit it. It was talking about drugs and it was the soundtrack fit it perfectly. I will say that. So when the so they B knocks Greg upside the head with the kettlebell because he's confused as to why they're ganging up on him. So he's getting defensive while they're getting defensive that he's getting defensive. So they kill him off. And then next thing you know, B spits up on her shirt and she goes and they all, instead of staying together throughout the entire night, it seems like every time they're like, let's split up, gang. And they go their separate ways. And that's one thing that pissed me off is I understand it's a slasher, but if you see people dying, wouldn't you want to be like, okay, we killed this guy. Now let's stick together. Let's go to one spot and just chill.
And essentially everybody but Greg, everybody's death but Greg was an accident.
Yeah.
Well,
the girl falls down the stairs.
Yeah,
because she's running away.
Yeah,
because she thinks that Sophie wants to be with her essentially.
Yep.
And she says no. What are you doing? So she runs off, falls down the stairs because she's drunk. They find her, and then
Alice, I would say, wasn't an accident for that matter because
they were fighting over a gun. She got shot by accident.
Okay, she got shot fatally by accident.
Right. We're talking about their deaths, not her wounds.
The deaths, yes.
But at the same time, like she literally shot her.
Right, but she did not die over a leg shot wound.
You'd be surprised. You could,
but she didn't in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie, she died because of the accident shot.
Because they're all fighting over the gun because they think each other's the killer.
Name another death that you think was serious besides Greg.
I mean, serious death, all of them serious. But
because Jordan again, they were fighting over the gun on the balcony, and one thing led to another, and she fell over the staircase.
And then she yells, "Check her phone."
Yep.
Like that's another thing. I was just like, she was like, me and her had sex before you came up here on this trip, and she's like, no, we didn't. Blah, blah, blah. She's like shooting at him. Check her phone. Bah, bah, bah.
And then, like, don't get me wrong, they didn't even finish that off because literally, she finds the bra upstairs and she's like, he's not hiding in my bra. Like, okay, first off. Second off, then she goes in the car once they kicked her out of the house.
But that ties into seeing the second bra.
That wasn't a bra. That was the underwear of the set.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So she literally finds the set of.
But it wasn't a waste. It wasn't a wasted scene, is what Craig is saying. She picks up the bra, and you're like, "That's stupid. That's a wasted scene."
But then you find the underwear in the car.
Yeah, finds the.
No, I'm saying those two were a wasted scene, just because nothing truly came out of it. At the end scene, it was just what it was.
She doesn't trust Sophie at the end. Yeah. That's what came out of it.
It wasn't a wasted scene.
I don't understand how she didn't trust her because
she kept asking for the phone.
She's trying to see the phone. She literally points the gun at her and says, "Let me see your phone."
How would that be a wasted scene?
Literally, they are huddled up next to each other together until he comes up and is like, "What happened?"
Because they're looking at Pete Davidson's phone.
Yes, but that makes them forget everything.
Right?
Yeah, because she's like, "That's not my phone."
Yeah,
so they're like, "Well, then whose phone is this?"
They're confused as to why they have Pete Davidson's phone, and then they see what they're like. Okay, well, if he's dead, then if we check it, maybe we see something. That's like the underwear.
That's movie writing 101.
Yeah, it ties into why they're fighting at the end.
One bra, because one panty.
If she falls over the balcony and she's just shooting at him, they're looking at each other like, we made it. Everybody's dead. I trust you. I love you. Yeah. But then there's doubt that she's saying check her text. So then that starts her running and hiding in the hallway and everything.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. You already had both of the set found. You already had the story found. So, I mean, that was a whole dumbass thing. That was a whole wasted little last line for that character because it's like, okay, I wouldn't trust that person either way for that matter, whether you tell me to check her text.
But if she's saying to check her text, like that's what leads into them finding the phone for Pete Davidson. That literally continues the movie.
I understand that and I get that fully. It's not like I don't. And that's, but at the same time, literally, like, that whole little subplot was just forgotten about. And it's dropped here and there throughout the
It is
movie
dropped
several times.
but
And it's literally just dropped after that.
It's dropped in the defense of finding what really happened for the movie. It's not like if there was another 30 minutes of the movie, I'm sure she's like, all right, now let me see your phone now that we realized what everything's happened. Oh, you really did it? Okay, bye. Like they're not gonna add that into the movie after they
I didn't say they were.
show them. But you're saying it's a massive plot hole, and it's not a plot hole.
I didn't say it's a massive plot hole. I said subplot.
It's not even a subplot.
It kind of was.
It pushes the story forward.
Movie. That's a subplot. You're playing Skyrim. You get to be a. Never mind. Either way.
But what pretty much what Craig was saying is you were trying to justify that it was a wasted scene of the bra and underwear, and he's just trying to justify that it wasn't a waste. So one is saying a waste, one is saying it's not a waste.
Right. So
if it's a wasted scene and you take it out, they look at each other on the balcony and they're like, "Movie's over." No, everybody else is dead. I trust you because we've been dating for 6 weeks. Because that's how Gen Zs are. Like, but with her putting something in the way of like, you can't trust her because we came up here or we were together before you guys even came up here. Like that's pushing the movie forward and creating tension between every single character. So we find Pete Davidson's phone at the end, and they go over to him and Face ID it, and you open it up, and he is trying which we didn't even mention it earlier. At the very beginning of the movie, Greg comes out with a bottle of champagne and a big scimitar sword and pops it open. And so at the very end, Pete Davidson's phone has a TikTok of him trying to open the bottle the same way with Bored in the House by Tyga playing in the background as the cover song for it. And he comes up and he cuts his own throat. There's no killer in the movie. They all die by accident because nobody trusts one another. And there's no cell reception because there's a power outage because they're in a hurricane. The car's dead because she left the makeup mirror open. It's a movie that I honestly would have rather not went and paid to see.
Oh. And then the very last scene is you see Max come in, and he's like, "What happened? What happened?"
Keanu Reeves just, "What happened, bro? Why are you dead? Why is he dead?" He's not like, "Oh shit, what happened?" He's just like, "Chill."
Yeah. So no killer.
Like there was no emotion to that either. I mean,
there is a killer.
What happened?
B, because she kills Greg, so she's technically the only killer in the movie.
Well, the game's killer was Jordan,
but she didn't kill anybody really. She shot somebody in the leg. That's why I said
the game's killer.
But I'm saying in the movie, there's really no killer except for B, because she's really the only person that purposefully killed somebody. So, but yeah, it's a whodunit with nobody really doing it. So, take that as you will.
Interesting. Other than a whodunit who had a bunch of accidental deaths in it, the movie really did, as a first time watched, one thing that the movie did do really well is that, at least for me, even though you had a bunch of teen cokeheads complaining about life and their fucking situation, the thing that kind of just kept going was it was an hour and a half, and I literally was guessing from start to almost finish about just not even who the killer is, but just how's it going to end? What's going to happen to this character? So the movie, to me at least, pacing wise, went by really, really fast. Because I was just guessing the entire movie.
I was like I said, it killed off the people that you had thoughts for, and then you're like, okay, well, if they didn't do it, then somebody else is doing it because people keep dying. So it was a good thought process on a whodunit. My whole issue is like, it was just like, it was so bickering, and you're doing this, and doing that, and doing this, and the camera movements, like it was hard to watch at times because it was just so shaky. And I understand it's a horror thriller or psychological, whatever you want to call it, but like it's dark, it's shaky, you can barely see anything. Maybe that's what they're going for, but I felt like it was hard to watch at times.
Agreed.
I want to point out that the amount of just like poking fun at mostly themselves throughout the whole movie, like Pete Davidson's character, and just probably like some of their real life issues going on. I think that was pretty smart, pretty different. By the end of the movie, like at least how I felt is I didn't really want anybody to survive. I was just like, you're too this or you're too that. Like literally by the middle of the movie, when you have a good probably 6-7 minutes of Sophie, B, Alice, and Jordan just sitting there yelling and bickering at each other, and this is ultimately the scene where Sophie or Alice dies. I feel like that 10-minute scene of them just completely exploiting their past could have been maybe cut down maybe like 5 minutes. But again, that's really where you get the meat and potatoes of everybody's backstory, and you get to see who really is the true friend, really, and which none of them are really true friends. They're almost just acquaintances, really, just people who hang out and
I'd more say frenemies.
I think it takes the normal thing of what people consider friendships as, I'm really only hanging out with these people because they're in the same sort of
in a way
demographic as I am. The tax brackets. We all our daddies all make the same money. We all have trust funds. We're all rich. That's why we hang out with each other. And then
my favorite character and actress in the movie was Sophie, played by Amandla Stenberg. Did you guys have like maybe a favorite actor or actress or character in the movie?
I liked Greg. He just seemed kind of chill and just there to party, and then everybody turned on him because he was 40. Like, damn, dude, this sucks.
They thought he was a military veteran.
But he's a veterinarian.
Like,
she's telling him, she's like, he's a vet. So everybody's like, okay, that's why he has this big suitcase of stuff, and that kind of points to why they think he's the killer, because he has all these. He's a
survivalist guy, but I think that also shows you how quick in the movie, but also maybe in real life, a certain generation. I'm not going to say that generation, but a certain generation probably judges before they even know you. And I think that all has something to do with this kind of meta feeling in the movie about the Gen Zs, or just these people in general in the movie. They're just so quick to judge and not trust anybody. Because they're from another generation. They're like, oh, he's 40 and he's a survivalist and he has knives. Let's point him out. He's the witch because he's prepared. He's different. That's what I think that this whole story is kind of basing upon.
I mean, honestly, yeah. I want to kind of defend it a little bit, because I wouldn't necessarily say Gen Z, but at the same time, like,
well, that's why I didn't say specifically Gen Z, just this group in general, because of how young this generation is in the movie. Anybody out there listening in podcast land, in the movie, the young people in general.
Well, I mean, I think it's more kind of going towards like the social media aspect of a lot of the generation, but at the same time, then it kind of it. I don't know. It's just kind of it's kind of a messy film, to be honest, in my eyes.
Describe
It just
messy.
kind of, huh?
Describe messy.
Trying to do too many things at once.
So it's hard.
You
So it's
don't,
hard to follow.
not at all. No, it's just trying to do too many things at once, and I think it's no way, shape, or form hard to follow at
But
all.
yeah, it probably does try to do too much at once. But in this movie, for how easy it is to follow, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I think it's messy because it shows just how not destroyed, but how I think I'm using the right
Self-destructive.
word, convoluted,
How
like
fucked up this
very
generation is.
yes,
There you go.
like they all
I'm
just
not sugar.
wanna,
I'm not sugarcoating it.
they all just want to use and party, and yeah, they yeah.
And one thing that I find and that I like about the director is that you would think that she's like, oh, this looks like it could be written from somebody who's maybe, you know, a Gen Z or themselves or a young person themselves. But actually, the director is like, she was born in '75,
So
so that
she's
makes her,
Greg.
yeah,
It's a movie from Greg's point of view. Everybody turns on him because he's a survivalist.
Because he's
yeah.
40 something.
Mike
I'm the
Gundy.
man. Yeah, same thought process. There we go.
But you know what? As far as directing, she's only directed 3 movies. That's why I didn't bring her up in the director talk. But Helena Regin has only directed Instinct, not that Instinct, from 2019, and then she did a short film called For the Birds, and then this is her technically her second full length feature film, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. So, she's also an actress. She's been in a lot of other things. Um, but I do find it interesting that exactly somebody Greg's age wrote and helped direct this movie. But you know, I kind of look at it as like I look at it as more of a comedy more than a horror film, or you have to look at it as like a comedy first then a horror. But we talked about kind of who we. Well, I don't think Craig even got to finish. Did you have a favorite character in the movie, Craig?
I
Or
said
you
Greg.
said Greg. Ed, you didn't finish. Who did you say?
I, Greg, just,
Johnny,
yeah. I
I'm,
mean,
I'm I'm surprised you didn't say Alice since she's a podcaster.
Yeah,
That was funny though. She was
that's
like,
true.
"You don't know how hard it is. Podcasts take time and dedication and hard work." And
Yeah.
in the theater, I was like, "Yeah, yeah, they do."
Yeah. Keyword
Speaking
there,
of,
hard work.
can we talk about what else was in the theater, Johnny?
Oh my god! Don't get me started on this.
uh-oh.
Um. All right. I know. Hold on. I know I'm gonna probably get some hate mail, or
No,
just
nobody should be hating on this.
Well, you'd be surprised. Um.
I have nobody else to watch them. No, no, no.
Somebody brought a younger than a 1-year-old, probably 1 month to 9 months. Let's say that baby into a not only a horror movie but an A24 movie. And I want to get some. I want this to create some kind of conversation.
And while
So
I don't think you're necessarily saying because of the imagery or because of the what it's depicting, it's more
right,
because of
because
the
the baby,
sounds.
not
You
even
know,
that, because the baby, none of that is going to horrify the baby. I guarantee you that
uh,
baby hears loud
No,
music.
nobody's going to hear. Nobody in that state of that age remembers anything. Like,
So my biggest gripe is why in the world would you bring a baby to an adult movie like that where there's going to be plenty of other adults trying to enjoy a horror movie? I
because you don't
don't
care.
understand it. I just, you know, let's take. Oh, I don't have anybody to watch the baby. Let's take that out of the equation. You're not only ruining other people in the movie theaters experience, because let's face it, we all spend our hard-earned money to watch movies in a movie theater, and it's like, you're upsetting people's movie going experience, which is just what we want to go see. If we want to see a movie and get interrupted, I'll just sit my ass at home and I can pause it here and there. I mean, that's not a joke. I'm glad you're
No,
laughing,
That's dead serious.
but I want these
damn,
people.
calm down. Shit.
No,
No, like because
I'm just
I'm about to go
frustrated.
off on this too.
I'm just frustrated because, like, you know, yeah, I mean, if anybody out there wants to justify or kind of bring a 2 cents to the table, if I'm being too harsh, just let me know. But I could see if it's okay. It's funny. I'm gonna dress my 6-month old up as Lightyear. We're gonna go see Lightyear. That's funny. I can respect that, or even I can put
Go.
that into the light.
So I went to go see Super Pets, another movie that I saw this weekend.
God bless you.
Tons of kids were there. So I knew from the get-go, with the understanding, I am at a kids movie. This is not one that I'm going to sit here and be able to hear all the dialogue. Kids are going to be talking. Kids are going to be laughing, giggling, asking questions.
They're gonna do the Adam Sandler laugh.
They're going to be making noise because it is a kids movie.
Yeah.
This is a rated R movie, 17 and up, with parental guidance.
Ed was making noise. No, I'm just messing.
Ed was making noise. I even told you to tell him to shut the fuck up. But like that's, I understand, and they tried to go at the most convenient time when they didn't think anybody else would be there. But at the same time, it is still a rated R movie where people, adults, think that they're going to be able to go and get away from kids. Like, that is the whole point of what rated R movies technically are. It's to not have any children in the theater. And if they're there, their parents are probably going to be telling them to shut up too, because they understand the concept.
And hey, I'm all for taking little
Your
baby
A24?
Exactly. I'm all for taking little baby Bob to go see an A24 movie. Okay?
Go see Marcel the Shell.
Go see Marcel the Shell. Don't take little baby Quasimodo to go see Midsummer. Or don't take him to go see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Maybe they misread the ticket, guys, and they thought it said babies, babies, babies. That's the only thing that I can justify.
But it's the fact that, like, people just don't care anymore. Like, it's a movie theater. It says to silence your cell phones and don't talk. Ed, you silenced your cell phone this time. You still talked.
When the baby started crying, one of us should have stood up and be like, "Hey, shut that damn baby up."
But it's just
I'm trying to watch my A24.
Like,
my God,
you know what I mean? Like, you go to a movie theater expecting silence to be able to hear the movie. There's no subtitles. If I want to not be able to hear stuff, like you said, I'm going to stay home so I can pause it, put on headphones. I understand I'll be disrupted here, but I'm paying money to go to a quiet, dark theater to watch a movie, not to hear children crying. Not even children. It was a baby. It was a straight up baby. Fresh out the womb. They left the hospital and came to the theater.
Still had blood on his head.
Like,
yeah, Steve.
There's just a difference. And if you hate on what we're saying, I'm sorry that, the movie's going to be out in a month or so. Watch it on DVD. Watch it on streaming.
Point out, both of you are fathers, so like y'all know the struggle for that matter.
Yeah, I get upset when my daughter's talking to me. I was like, "Shh, the movie's on." She's over here.
I'm trying to get Buzz Lightyear and Disney Beyond, man.
It's just like they're children though, so I understand. So I'm like, hey, it's a movie theater. You do still have to be quiet, even though other kids are making noise. I still want her to get the concept that you have to be quiet because other people are trying to enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
At me. I don't care. If you were in the movie theater and it was you and you're listening to this podcast Sunday at 1:30, Harkins, Oklahoma City, and that was you and your baby, at me so I can talk to you some more.
And there's his name. You can add him on the Instagram page, the Tony Stank 20.
Swear to God, you're gonna get trolls just for that.
And there's the social media. Just bring up some conversation. What do you guys think? I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to be that event. What do you guys think on taking 6-month-olds to rated R movies. Hit us up on the Facebook, facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Instagram /The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Hit us up on the Twitter @Cine-Men405, or the email CINEMEN921 @gmail.com.
And I also want to point out that they took the baby to Bodies. It's not even a good rated R movie. Like, they didn't even take him to like Terminator 2 or nothing. It was Bodies.
So yeah, if me, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm taking the baby to Graham's. I'm taking the baby.
Even if you can't do that, even if you can't take it anywhere, stay your ass at home. You got stuff on Disney Plus.
Oh. Before we get into our star rating, Ed, you have a favorite scene?
The scene with Greg laying down, acting like he's dead. That was pretty good. I mean, he sold it pretty damn well. So, yeah.
I'm already getting hate mail. No, I'm just kidding.
Ding 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 ding.
Shit. Honestly, if I had to pick just a favorite scene, it would probably be the scene where you think Greg is it, and he picks up the knife and he's trying to defend himself, and then he ultimately gets whacked. Greg's death scene is going to be my favorite scene of the movie.
Literally Greg? Whacked.
My favorite scene was Pete Davidson's TikTok, where you see that he offs himself, because like that is the epitome of TikTok.
Yeah,
you're doing stupid stuff with a stupid song in the background. It's like doing the Cine-Men challenge or the Tide Pod challenge. You don't think about the consequences.
Or the Hot Ones challenge, Ed.
We didn't even TikTok it. We could have got major views on that.
Yeah.
But like it's the fact that people are so mindless when they're trying to do something to get views that he offs himself.
Yeah.
Which is another thing pointing to Gen Zs, where they don't care what they're doing on TikTok. As long as it's for the views, it's all right.
Let's try to get some views on here. Next week we could do Russian roulette. No, I'm just messing with you.
I mean,
with the water gun?
Hey, everything for the gram, bro.
With a water gun, but it's got vodka in it.
Oh, or some tequila?
I mean, Russian vodka, Russian. I see you.
You're funny, Ed.
Hey, I see you.
All right, guys, this is it. Star rating. Don't forget to let us know your star rating on Bodies. You can send us in at the email, or hit us up on the social media. But it's time. Edward, we'll start with you. Star rating on Bodies.
5.
Wow. I think besides I don't know what else. I don't think you've lowered. That's one of the lowest scores you've had. Nice. I'm gonna give this movie a 7. I think just because of how much fun I had while I was watching it. I'm afraid of the rewatch because it is a whodunit, and there's not very many whodunits out there that can get my attention on a second watch. So the rewatchability kind of scares me. But on the first watch, it kind of had me at the edge of my seat. I thought it was funny. I thought it was dumb. And at the end of the day, I just had a good time watching it. And it was funny. So I'm giving it a 7 right off the bat. Craig?
A foe?
For the listeners? A 4.
You're giving it the foe for
foe. I don't know if you saw this, Johnny, but there were times where I sat back in my seat and closed my eyes, hoping I would drift away and fall asleep.
I thought you were I thought you just had like sugar attacks or something. I thought you were passing out.
No. Like there were times where I was like,
I fell asleep during Endgame.
I was like, if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. But then I woke up because I was like, well, we have to talk about the movie, so I at least need to know. But
it's the thought that counts. You get an E for effort, Craig.
Like I don't want to watch this movie ever again.
Oof.
It's funnier to talk about it than it is to watch it. Yeah, I just that's why like go watch it for yourself if you want, but
agreed.
I'd
And
rather watch.
I
I'd
mean,
rather watch Daredevil with Ben Affleck, which
and
also got my 4 on my list.
it's already getting a straight to streaming release. It's going to be on streaming in October, and I think it's going to be on Blu-ray at the end of October towards Halloween.
We
So
should have waited for then, because
so
I spent $7 on it.
so check it out. It's in theaters right now. You guys can give us a type us in the social media and let us know your thoughts on bodies. Send us in your star rating, and I'll read it on the email bag starting next week. Email is cinemen921 at gmail.com.
I
But for
wish I was
now,
Zach. It took off this week.
What is this garbage? Give me back my $7.
we're getting into the email bag.
The mail's here.
So yeah, if you guys have any emails, just I haven't gotten into all of them, but I have gotten into some. So it's been a hectic week. Work, home, podcast, rinse, repeat, lather. So send us an email. I will get into the email bag later on and keep just reading out some more. So the ones that I got to reply to, I will read right now. So again, the email is cinemen921 at gmail.com. Henry says, haven't seen Marcel yet, but Bodies is extremely entertaining. I wish Pete Davidson had more scenes and more screen time.
Maybe that
Interesting
would have made it
film.
better.
Interesting film, 8 stars. Kendall says The Spectacular Now is phenomenal. Miles Teller is amazing. It was my first time watch on HBO Max, and he gives a stellar performance, just as good as anything he's ever done. 10 stars. Gabriel says Marcel was good, but I feel like the pacing was a little off. It felt too slow for just an hour and a half movie. 5 stars. Justin says, I'm stoked about hearing you guys talk about X, one of my favorite movies of the year. It's just raw and uncomfortable. 8 stars. Ooh. Steven says, can I put in a request for you guys to review Face Off, my all-time favorite movie, and I want to hear your thoughts. Been listening since the Hook episode. Big fans. Hopefully my email gets read.
Hey, the Hook episode, nice.
So Face Off is a fun movie.
Yeah.
Lawrence says Marcel gets a 7. From me, it's good, but not as great as the reviews read. 7 from Lawrence. Michelle, maybe it's because I'm in my 50s, but Bodies was extremely dumb. 4 stars.
Hey, she got you, Craig.
Jeffrey says, just want to throw this out there, show some love. I've been listening since 2018, and you guys just hit it. I love the show. Like I said before, I go to Iraq all the time, overseas. So sometimes listening is like having home in my headphones. Appreciate the content and all the movies you guys talk about. Keep going. Please don't stop.
No,
Man.
thank you. Thank you 100%. Absolutely.
Appreciate you still listening, bud. That I remember your one of his last emails for that matter. He's been listening for a long time, man.
Donald says, will you guys ever revisit franchises that you've hit on the past? Whether it be Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, more older MCU and DCU films, or any horror franchises?
I wouldn't mind.
I mean, I think any of those franchises would be fun to go back to. There's a lot of stuff that we just haven't got to, whether it be a franchise or just something. There's so much to get into, and I mean,
oh yeah,
we only really have 53 weeks in a year, so
even with the bonus episodes, we can only do around 100 episodes or 100 movies.
There's a lot of stuff to get into. So Donald, yeah, definitely hit us some those franchises you put. Send us another email. Which one would you want us to do first? Falcon 616 says Marcel was fantastic. One of the better kids movies this year. So meaningful and precious. 10 stars.
There you go. Nice.
Daniel says High Life was a fun episode. The movie was weird. I don't know if I'd ever want to rewatch it again, but overall a decent first time watch. 7 stars. The sex box was strange.
Oh, I forgot about that. I was gonna mention that in my top 5 as a joke, but then I completely forgot about it.
Sarah97 says if you guys could have another themed month like A24, what month or what theme would you choose and why? I got to read this email a little bit later on, so since I got to think about it, I don't think we have enough time to this year, but since our theme this year is Denzel Washington, I'm like, we haven't even dedicated a whole month to the man yet, and I don't think we're gonna. I don't know. We may or may not, but I would like to think maybe a whole month dedicated to an actor, like we did Brad Pitt last year, or we did a Quentin Tarantino month a few years ago. Yep. A24 is August, but what about you guys?
I'd say probably like a month dedicated to like past Academy Award winners or past movies of the year, et cetera, et cetera. So,
it's a good one. I don't know. Some of mine are more just like ideas for like themed horror films, for that matter. Do like classic like Bela Lugosi or the Thing from the Swamp, or stuff like that, or like specific related movies similar to that, for that matter. Monster movies or horror films or something similar of that. Not the whole franchise, but like maybe the first film of a Freddy, a Jason, Michael, and Chucky. But I know we've done 3 out of the 4 of those so far. So,
Coco Chris says I just watched a movie this weekend called Sorry to Bother You, and I was stoned as hell. Have you guys seen that movie? It's really, really trippy, and I highly recommend it. Sorry to Bother You. It is a weird movie. I think it has Lakeith Stanfield in it, and like there's horses. I've seen it one time. There's like horses involved, and
I have.
Craig, you might like that movie.
I like Lakeith Stanfield.
Emily says recently watched Jennifer's Body for Friday the 14th stream, and gosh, what a fun movie. I can't remember seeing this in theaters, but it was a really good, fun, nice time first watch. 7 stars. Sam G69 says High Life was a unique watch. I feel like it's a good story, pretty original, as well as a good shot sci-fi movie. I would give it an 8, but I don't know if I'd ever want to rewatch it again. I
don't remember what I gave it. What did I give it? Like 7?
I think you gave it a 6.
6?
Yeah.
7?
Yeah. You can go back and listen to the episode though. Go back and all the listeners go back and listen to it and let us know what Craig gave it. I'm gonna finish this one out because it's pretty talking about a different movie. Marcus says Prey was okay. I think it's getting too much praise though because the CGI was god awful and the Predator himself looked really stupid. I enjoyed the concept, but overall I would give it a 6. What do you guys think of Prey? Do you think it's overhyped or underrated?
I have not seen it yet. I really want to
though. I've seen a lot of people talking about the face design of the Predator and how it's different compared to the original. I will say that the original looks better, but
I don't think everything has to look the exact same as the original. They're just trying to be different.
They're still using prosthetics and not visual effects for them. Yes, some of the CGI wasn't the greatest, but it's a straight to Hulu movie.
Which I heard it is getting a physical media release in December or November, so that'd be nice.
But if this movie was in theaters and it looked the way it was, I can understand the hate for the CGI. But it was a straight to Hulu. Go back and look at some of Netflix's straight to Netflix stuff. Tell me their CGI is great. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's good for what it was. And it's on Hulu. It's free. Technically, you're paying for Hulu, but like it's content that didn't have to be on Hulu. They could have put that in a theater. and made a couple millions.
#1 streamed movie in the world right now. But guys, I think we did Bodies justice. We still have 4 movies to go for A24 month. This Thursday, me, Ed, and maybe Craig are going to hop on for Under the Silver Lake with one Andrew Garfield. And then next Monday, we're talking Men, which is A24's latest horror movie, which came out earlier this summer. For you guys, it's available on the Vudu. For everybody else, I believe you can go check it out on Blu-ray and DVD. So that's what we're talking about next week, August 22nd, episode 207. Men next week, right here on the podcast. So I think that should be pretty fun. Ed, do you have anything else you want to add to the episode? Looking forward to Men next week. I know it'll be a first-time watch for everybody, including me.
For anybody that does not know how to use a blade, please cut away from yourself. Do not cut towards yourself. It is not recommended. You won't end up on the good side of the blade. Simple as that. But this is Ed saying I'll see you on the silver screen.
Okay.
It's like a football. Laces out. You kick the football. Laces out.
Yeah.
I don't think many people understand that.
Craig, what about you? You looking forward to Men next week, first time watch, and then what do you think? Just a few days away this Thursday, Under the Silver Lake.
Have either of you seen Silver Lake yet?
Negative.
No, Ed. No. Okay, Johnny. I know we had talked about it yesterday, but I think it's an interesting watch. You guys are going to be, I think, at this. I could probably tell you the exact second where you're going to be like, what the F is going on? Or like, what's going on?
I'm excited.
I could probably tell you the exact second in the movie. But man, I'm excited to talk about that. Just because I think it is like very, like, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We can get into it. Man, I started Men this morning during a lunch break.
Nice.
So it will be my first time. It's a little weird at the beginning, but we'll see where it goes. And I'll be back here next week.
All right, guys. Don't forget, you can check out Bodies in theaters right now. We'll see you this Thursday for Under the Silver Lake. Next Monday, Men, August 22nd, right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.